Come into this holy space, bringing with you whatever joy, pain, or sorrow you carry, knowing that you will be held in love. Come into this holy space with open mind and open heart, being willing to be shaped by what you encounter here, because you will be held in love. Come into this holy space, willing to hold others in love, because the love you bring is part of the love that holds us all. Come, let us worship together.
To me. Good morning. My name is Erin Terizzi, and I am your lay leader today. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. Whether you have been coming to this church for a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whomever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Wherever you come from and whatever your journey has been, we welcome you. We now take a moment to acknowledge that the land we stand on was taken from the local indigenous people. Inspired by their culture, may we strive to become better stewards of the earth. Newcomers and guests are always welcome to participate in any of our church activities. Currently, our services are being led by members of this congregation or outside guest speakers. And every week will be a little bit different than the week before. If you are visiting our church for the first time, we invite you to visit again to experience the variety of services being offered. For example, today is unique because the members of the Monday Night Covenant group, which actually meets on Tuesday evenings, will be assisting with this service. Also, if you are a visitor and are so inclined, we would love for you to introduce yourself. Please raise your hand and someone will be around with a microphone.
Hey folks, my name is Ben Nabdonardo. I live currently in Beaver Falls, PA, and it's good to be with everyone today.
Welcome.
Good morning, it's Kathy Miller and our oldest son, Sam Brown, and my husband, Tom Brown, visiting from North Carolina.
Welcome back. I have a last-minute announcement from the Memorial Garden team. Next Sunday, May 28th, we will have a dedication for our redesigned Memorial Garden and a celebration of 60 years at UUCNH, followed by a luncheon. All are welcome, but we need to know how many people we are going to have joining us. Please RSVP to the luncheon by sending an email to the Memorial Garden at memorialgarden@uucnh.org today, or by completing one of the provided RSVP forms in the back and place it in the basket designed for forms. You can see them back there. Again, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. It is good to be together, both in person and virtually.
The chalice lighting is Connected Through the Web of Life by Jennifer Grayson. We light this chalice, symbol of our purpose, to bring more love and justice into the world. We light this chalice, knowing our congregation as a church dispersed across communities, not bound by walls, but connected through the web of life.
Our opening hymn is Wake Now, My Senses. It is number 298 in the gray hymnal, and the words will be on the screen. Or I could just read it to no one. Oh, thanks. Thanks, all you young at heart. Oh, good. Some actual young people. Come on, sit. All right. So we are going to read a book called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? A Guide to Daily Happiness for Kids. It is by Carol McLeod and illustrated by David Messing. All day long, everyone in the whole world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. You can't see it, but it's there. You have a bucket, and each member of your family has a bucket. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbors all have buckets. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. Your bucket has one purpose only. Its purpose is to hold good thoughts and good feelings about yourself. You feel happy and good when your bucket is full, and you feel sad and lonely when your bucket is empty. Other people feel the same way too. They're happy when their buckets are full, and they're sad when their buckets are empty. It's great to have a full bucket, and this is how it works. Other people can fill your bucket, and you can fill theirs. You can fill your own bucket too. So how do you fill a bucket? Any ideas? Yeah?
You put water in it.
You know what? That's a good idea. But think about what the purpose of a bucket is. Or this bucket. You fill a bucket when you show someone you love them. When you say something or do something kind. Or even when you give someone a smile. That's being a bucket filler. A bucket filler is loving, caring, and they're a person who does nice things to make others feel special. When you treat others with kindness and respect, you fill their bucket. But you can also dip into a bucket and take out some good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, when you say or do mean things, or when you ignore them. That's bucket dipping. Bullying is bucket dipping a lot. When you hurt others, you dip into their buckets. You also dip into yours. Many people who dip have an empty bucket. They may think that they can fill their own bucket by dipping into someone else's, but that never works. You can never fill your own bucket when you dip into someone else's. However, guess what? When you fill someone's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. You feel good when you help others feel good. All day long, we are either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. You can love your mom and dad. Why not tell them how much you love them? You can even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets with joy. Watch for the smiles to light up their faces. You will feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries an invisible bucket, and think of what you can say or do to fill it. Does anyone have any ideas of how to be good bucket fillers? Well, this book gives you a couple of good ideas. Here are some ideas of ways you could be a good bucket filler. You could smile and say hi to the bus driver. He has a bucket too. You could invite the new kid at school to play with you. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. As a teacher, I know we really appreciate that. You could tell your grandpa that you like spending time with him. There are many ways to fill a bucket. Bucket filling is fun and easy to do. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't take much time. And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own a little bit too. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, and your neighborhood better places for all. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just remember each day by saying this to yourself: I'm going to do something to fill someone else's bucket today. And at the end of each day, ask yourself, did I fill a bucket today? Yes, I did. And that's the life of a bucket filler. And that's you. All right, and now we'll sing you off to your classes. Thanks, kids.
Good morning. I'm Inga Burton-Smith from the Lay Pastoral Care Team. During our service, we've created this sacred space for sharing within our community. It is time to share significant life passages with the congregation so that you can be held in loving care. I'll be reading the joys and sorrows this morning, and Lynn Herkenrother will be placing a stone representing each joy or sorrow in the sand. The sand represents our congregation, supporting our sorrows and lifting up our joys. This morning we have a joy from Melissa Nelson. Her joy: many of you know how near and dear to my heart Bellwood is. I'm happy to say that I've accepted a position at Bellwood Preschool to begin on August 1st. To Melissa, we say, we share in your joy. We now place one more stone in the sand for all the joys and sorrows that exist in our hearts but remain unspoken today. From far and near, please join with me in saying our caring words. Let us hold in our circle of caring each person here. Let us hold in our hearts those who are unable to be with us today. Let us hold in our memories those who have moved on. Let us find comfort in knowing that we are not alone.
Each Sunday in our services, we make a space for deep reflection in the form of meditation or prayer, or however you choose. This morning, the meditation is taken from a very well-known Buddhist tradition, loving kindness. I invite you to make yourself more comfortable. If you feel inclined to do so, close your eyes, but be prepared to enter into a space of deep reflection in your own heart. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May everyone be filled with loving kindness. May everyone be well. May everyone be peaceful and at ease. May everyone be whole. May the blessings of all these gifts be to all our neighbors, including those we do not know or see. especially those in need whose need we do not see. May it be so this day and every day. Amen.
We know that your financial contributions come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds that we gather collectively to do a greater good for ourselves and the world than they could have done alone. If you are here in person with us today, you can place your offerings in the baskets being passed by the ushers. If you're joining us virtually, you can make an offering by going to the UUCNH website or by mailing a check to the church. This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me in saying the dedication of our offering. The words will be on the screen. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith.
Suburban poverty. Good morning. I'm Lou Bartolomucci, and I've been a member of UUCNH for many years. I was born in Swickley Valley Hospital and grew up in a working-class family in a working-class small town not far from here. 30 years later, after I was born at Swickley Valley Hospital, I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh. Our mom reared my sister, brother, and me, and managed our home. Our father was an auto worker who worked for Fisher Body, a division of General Motors. Dad belonged to the AFL-CIO, a labor union. He earned our income. We were very lucky to have a modest two-bedroom house with coal heat in the winter and a clothesline both in the basement and in the backyard for drying the laundry. We had enough food to eat, and we never wasted food or water or anything else I can think of. One day in my childhood, I may have been 7 years old, a strange, small event occurred. We were sitting at dinner around our oval dining room table, and I noticed a container of milk, not a glass bottle of milk, as was usual, or simply our children's glasses filled with milk, but a container with a lid sitting there on the table. The edge of the milk, just below the rim of the container, was milky blue, and this was very strange. I tasted this milk and told my mother something was wrong with the milk. She told me it was just fine. It wasn't. Two things were different. The milk was not cold, and it tasted very wrong, very off. Soon my sister noticed. We complained more urgently. Suddenly my mother began to cry. "Yes, I know it's different, but that's all I have to give you," she said. Nothing could have been more alarming, more frightening than seeing my mother cry. I sensed her feeling of fear and helplessness, and I was very afraid. Lots of times during our childhoods, my father and other workers and their families endured labor unrest and labor strikes. In those times, we drank powdered milk and ate grilled cheese sandwiches made from large blocks of American cheese. We ate canned fruit and vegetables and scrambled eggs for dinner. And today, in our affluent suburb in North Hills, among homes that look like small elementary schools, among car dealerships that thrive by selling Teslas, Bentleys, Jaguars, Volvos, Mercedes, and more, among neighbors who own pet dogs which cost $3,000 and $4,000, among so much affluence. We have families struggling with food insecurity, drinking powdered milk, eating canned fruits and vegetables from the food pantry, and worrying about the heat being turned off in the winter, and the rent being paid from month to month. We UUs believe that no one should be hungry. No one should be cold. No one should be alone, and no parent should live in fear and worry over the welfare of a child. Our guest this morning is a neighbor, a parent, and a friend who also believes that who also believes that, and whose work with North Hills Community Outreach as executive director aims to fulfill that mission. Please welcome Mr. Tom Baker.
Are you sure you want me to speak, or just want to have Lou keep going? That was was remarkable. So thank you all for having me here today. And first things first, thank you for the kind and generous donation to North Hills Community Outreach. Lou gave me the envelope. I showed it to my mom, who's here with me, and I was like shocked and honored and so happy about it. And she was like, yeah, it was in the email update that went out. Didn't you get it? I was like, oh, my mom's on the email list. I need to get on your email list. She knew the inside scoop before I did. So thank you all for having me. That's my mom, Patty, and my stepdad, Phil. They've been here before. They've been active with the UU Church in Smithton. I don't know if anyone's ever been to the Smithton Church of Unitarian Universalists. So I've been there a couple times, and I got to say, when I was there, outside of NHCO, I started an organization a while back called Get Involved, which is all about getting people involved in the community, helping them volunteer. And as we have an annual event called the Service Summit, and when I was at their service, I was like taking notes. I was like, this is the vibe. This is what it's about, to bring people together. This is about kindness. This is about inclusiveness. Everything that you do within the UU Church is pretty remarkable. So thank you for the kind welcome. I was taking notes from my own church. I think I was greeted by about 6 or 7 people. Lou introduced me to every single person. That's a good first experience for somebody coming to visit your church, which is very wonderful. And thanks for having my daughter here as well. She's upstairs. I believe they're doing superheroes or some version of superheroes. And the book was lovely. She has a hard time kind of going up in the front, but she was listening to every word of that book. That was very good about filling the buckets. So has anyone not heard of North Hills Community Outreach before today? It's okay if you haven't, maybe the North Carolina folks. So we are the largest social services agency in northern Allegheny County. We do cover 40 zip codes and 50 communities. I was a volunteer way before I was ever our executive director, and there's 4 of us on staff that are like that. So I got involved first in 2010, was on the board, ran some marathons. We had a marathon team. I ran some very, 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 very slow half marathons on behalf of NHCO. My half marathon times are very comparable to like a fast person's marathon time, but I had a good time with that and got to MC some events over the years. And it's been a real honor, a civic opportunity of a lifetime to be our executive director since October of 2020. Speaking of 2020, as a volunteer, as a former board member, what I saw out of NHCO coming out in March, April, May, June of 2020 was nothing short of heroic. It was honestly absolutely amazing and continues to be. Our organization never shut down, a week or two in the beginning, but we were one of the places where we had the letter that said not only can you stay open, but because you provide emergency food assistance, you must stay open. So we were there, we were active, and the team did an incredible job. So when I got there in October, I was really honored to get to work with such brave people, such people of valor and courage. And it's not just the staff. Our organization has around 1,000 volunteers per year, which is pretty remarkable. One of them is your fellow member, Cheryl Rampalt, who's here with us. So we get to see Cheryl once a week. Because Cheryl and I are here together today, I don't have to call her Cheryl R. We have so many Cheryls in our Allison Park office. They're Cheryl English. There's actually a volunteer named Cheryl Aloise who goes by Susie because it got too confusing because there are too many Cheryls. So, but she does a wonderful job as a volunteer. Speaks very highly of your church, and it's good to see Cheryl on the weekend as well. So we do have incredible volunteers. I think absolutely some of the best. One of the really courageous stories was Glenn Smith, who's such a wonderful volunteer. He's in his late 70s now. A couple years ago when the pandemic started, he literally just started building desks and on behalf of NHCO, delivering them to children. If you think back to 2020, desks for kids at home, learning at home, that was something that a lot of kids didn't have, and that's what he made happen. He would literally build the desks, drive them in his van, and drop them off to children all over the region, which is pretty incredible. There are 20 programs and services of NHCO. There will not be a test afterwards, but I think the first thing that a lot of people think of us for are our food pantries. So in any given month, in helping with food insecurity, we make sure that we have our food pantries. There are 3 a month at our office at Allison Park. There are 3 a month at our office in the North Boroughs. We're in Avalon, out of Greenstone United Methodist Church is where our office is located there. So there's 3 there as well. Millvale, the Millvale Community Center, we have 1 food pantry there a month. And then just 2 years ago, we started a program called NHCO on the Go. The third Friday of every month, we go to communities where I believe and we believe that we could and should be doing more to connect with clients and potential clients. So we go on the road. We literally take the show on the road. It's kind of a bit of a mobile food pantry, and through that, we get to meet and get to serve a lot more people. About 100 more clients and future clients get food through that. An NHCO food pantry is kind of like your church in a way. It's kind, it's inclusive. Everyone is welcome at food pantry, certainly. We don't judge based on anything background-wise as it relates to any religion, any ways that people identify themselves, anything related to that. Like, everyone is welcome. We are a kind and inclusive organization. That's really important to us. I think about this all the time. Lila and I were in Millville yesterday at the Millville Music Festival visiting the NHCO table. And when I started in October of 2020, I'll never forget, our Millville manager asked me, this is kind of a big question, but like, can we be a sponsor of Pride? And I was like, yeah, but like, what's the question? Like, of course we can be. Like, of course, we love everyone. We are inclusive to everyone as NHCO, and this is our third year running as a sponsor of the Pride event in Millville, right? I mean, it's all about bringing people together. And I got to say, Lila and I went to Pride last year, and everyone's like, thanks for coming, thanks for coming. I was like, thanks for having us. Like, we're honored to be here with all of you. I mean, that's what it's all about. So NHCO is definitely a very inclusive organization. That's really, truly what we're all about. We often think of food pantries as a conduit to a conversation. People come to our food pantries, they get food, they get a whole lot more than food too. When you come to an NHCO food pantry, you get a nice amount of food, but you also get personal care items, you get cleaning items. You then can learn about all the sharing projects that we run throughout the year. We actually have a chow wagon as well too, so your dog and your animals can get a little bit of food through the chow wagon, which is nice as well too. So there's a whole wide variety of items that our clients get at a typical food pantry. In 2020, we did have to shift a little bit. Obviously, we had ways, like any organization, of how we did things. Previously, everyone came, they would sit downstairs in our community room. You would get your time, you would go through with a shopper that would get to go kind of pick out the items that you wanted with you through our food pantry. And that was the same at all of our offices. In 2020, we had to pivot a bit, and we then started doing drive-through food pantry process, which worked out pretty well. And you probably saw the Us's of the world and the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Banks, and I know Pittsburgh Public Schools did some comparable food pantries where people could drive through. So those went well. And at this point within NHCO, we started last year, it's a hybrid. So if you want to shop, you can come and get you get to go over and shop with one of our volunteers and pick out the items that you want. And if you just want to come, park your car up top and get your stuff and get going, that's okay too. So it is nice to kind of have the blended approach. Millville and North Boroughs are both very walkable communities. So for those, the bulk of people just kind of come and pick out their items, which is nice as well. So through a food pantry, you can then learn about all the other things that we do within NHCO. One that I think is pretty neat, we do taxes, but I don't know if anyone here likes taxes. Anybody? No? They're not very fun, but we try to make them fun. So this last year, 500 clients got over $600,000 back in their taxes. They didn't have to spend the $100 or $200 at H&R Block. Our volunteers and our staff did a remarkable job, again, helping them with their taxes. Lou talked about kind of finding the next milk, the next meal. I think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? If you don't feel safe, if you're not warm or cold, depending on the time of year, if those physiological needs are not met, it's really hard to learn. It's really hard to work. It's really hard to do a lot of things if your basic needs are not being met. And that's what we do as an organization. So we literally help people keep their lights on. We help people keep their heat on. This one still strikes me. The first check that I ever signed as our executive director in 2020 was to the South Hills Beauty Academy. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, what's going on here? Like, first of all, we're North Hills. Like, what's going on? And we do have an education assistance program as well, too, that helps people get their careers going, helps them with having care for their children as well, too, with books, a wide variety of things. So we're helping people find self-sufficiency. That's what it's truly all about. We have brochures on your way out. One of my favorite stories, and Lou asked me to share just a couple of stories. I love when clients come back and become volunteers, they become donors, And for 3 of our colleagues, they become staff members, right? That's awesome, right? If you can go from being a client to any of those 3 possibilities. In the first holiday season that I was at NHCO, we do the holiday toy shop where around 900 kids get a lot of their holiday toys through NHCO. It's $100 plus. It's a lot of good stuff. We don't wrap them because we want the parents and the families to get to experience that and to make sure that we also that they don't get the same gift twice or anything. But they get to pick out their own things, and then the kids get the items, which is really, really remarkable. But Vicki Bursinowitz from our team called up to me and she was like, get down here now, get down here now. Crystal's here. And I was like, cool, I'm coming down. Like, but who's Crystal? And she was like, you'll see when you get here. So I go downstairs, and Crystal is literally the person that's on our brochures. And she had a wonderful experience as a client, was happy to tell that story, came back, and she was donating toys for the holidays, right? So that's an example of Crystal going, and she was role modeling to her children, giving back and making a difference, getting her neighbors involved. Love that, right? She was somebody that had received some help through our program and then wanted to pay it forward to other folks. 2 just really relevant stories that came up in the last couple of weeks. There's an organization called Community Action Association of PA, CAP, and 2 of our clients just won awards with them for their journey with NHCO. And I thought that these would be very, very relevant. They just found out in the last 2 weeks that they won these awards. So if it's okay, I'm going to tell you about Marlisa and Deanna real fast. When Marlisa first came to NHCO, she had recently recommitted herself to sobriety after a brief relapse in her substance use recovery and was experiencing homelessness after leaving an abusive relationship. She knew she deserved better and was willing to work tirelessly to overcome barriers. However, homeless with no job or transportation, Marlisa knew she needed a little extra assistance to get her where she wanted to be. With the support of NHCO's self-sufficiency program, Marlisa tackled every challenge that came her way to find stable employment. Within a month of her enrollment, Marlisa had found work, first at the greatest place on earth, PNC Park. You can guess where my daughter and I are going after this, right? Thank you. Yeah. So she found employment at PNC Park, and then as a call center employee. Her strong will, motivation, and sheer devotion to herself and her goals helped her overcome transportation barriers and mental health challenges that made it difficult to maintain a job. Marlisa consistently strived to be the best and hardest worker at her job, which earned her extra hours and better pay. Her hard work paid off in early October when she signed a lease for an affordable apartment, finally allowing her to have a safe place to live. Outside of her work in the self-sufficiency program, Marlisa credits her spirituality for inspiring her to make important changes in her life. Marlisa worked really close with Michaela Fogel, who is just a wonderful member of our team. She runs our McKees Rocks office, and when you think of North Hills, you don't always think about the rocks, but Michaela literally rocks the rocks. We are very busy over there. I was just there on Friday, and good things going out of that office. So congratulations to Marlisa. And then Deanna. Deanna was nominated by NHCO. Deanna first came to NHCO via a partner agency. She was being evicted and eventually was homeless. Due to the pandemic and some health issues, she had less hours at work as a home health aide and was barely making enough to meet her basic needs. Originally, she came in for a referral to the food pantry and assistance with an electric bill for the place she ultimately had to leave. After Deanna enrolled in Pathways, she worked with a service coordinator to help secure housing. They coordinated with the landlord to accept assistance so that Deanna could move in. NHCO also helped Deanna get a bus pass so that she could expand her employment radius and gain a few new home health aid clients. She is now working on legal and financial goals and would like to increase her income so that her budget will be more secure. Deanna is dedicated and invested in the program and very skilled at using her strengths and support for success. To me, that's what it's all about, right? And I know that they're not with us here today, but Carmen and Michaela from our team did such a good job working with both of them. It's just an example of the clients that we work with. Every person really is one step away from hardship, poverty, or crisis, and that's what we're all about as an organization. That's what we're addressing every day. We couldn't do it without partners like you, so thank you again for the kind contribution that you made that will directly go to support our clients and our neighbors in need. It's been mentioned today about, and Lou made a good point about this, just about the communities that make up the North Hills, right? I could show you in my office right now, though, that no matter what neighborhood we're looking at, there is a percent of people that are living below the poverty line. In some of the schools, school districts, in some of the communities, it might be 2% or 4%, but there are kids within classes at North Allegheny, at Hampton, and a lot of our other school districts that are living below the poverty line. And then if you go to some of our communities, including two of the ones where our other two largest offices are at, North Burroughs, Millvale, Sharpsburg, you get up to 12, 15, 20%. So they're, 1 out of every 5 kids in a classroom isn't really sure where him and his family or her and her family are eating that night or what they're going to eat. So I think it really hits home when you think about the fact that it could be anyone in your kids, your grandkids' classrooms, nieces, nephews. It really could be affecting and influencing anyone. So the good thing is that we look for the helpers, right? That's what we do as Pittsburghers. That's what we do as Mr. Rogers' friends and neighbors as Pittsburghers. So when things get scary, when things get tough, we look for the helpers. Maybe not a better example in our community than NHCO in 2020 of a group of volunteers, staff, board, everyone really stepping up to make a positive and important difference in the community. So we're going to hang out with you afterwards. It was an awesome opportunity. I really appreciate Lou. You'll never be more prepared for a speech or a time than having Lou as your guide and your mentor through the process. So we met, we gathered, we emailed, we called, we heard about each other's trips. We heard about your trip to DC with your daughter Karen, all kinds of good stuff. So I appreciate you all very, very much. My mom, Patty, and Phil will be here. Lila will be here if you want to say hi afterwards. And if you want to grab information at the table, please feel free to do so. But as Dr. Jonas Salk, another big-time Pittsburgher, said, the reward for work well done is the opportunity to do more. So I know you, as members of this church, care about other people, making it an inclusive and kind world. That's really what it's all about. And I can't believe I'm quoting this person, but does anyone listen to 96.1 KISS? Anybody? Somebody? No. All right, there's this Mikey and Big Bob. They have the morning show, right? And I don't really look for inspiration from him, but this morning he literally tweeted, and it was his daughter's 16th birthday, and he was like, it doesn't matter to me what she does someday, what her career is, what school she goes to. All that matters to me is what I know and that she'll be kind. And I was like, that is first of all, just a wise thing, right? To have the expectation of your child that your really only hope is that they will be kind someday. And whatever that kindness brings them career-wise, school-wise, will be a good thing. So I'm going to close off, instead of Dr. Jonas Salk, Roberto Clemente, Fred Rod, I'm going to go with Mikey from 96.1 KISS and say, thank you for being kind and thank you for being the helpers in the community. Thanks so much. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Everyone's like, what is 96.1 KISS? Any questions?
Do you have any?
It's okay if you don't.
It's fine if you don't.
All right, well, you're easy crowd. Okay, all right, thank you all. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Lou.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please join us in affirming our mission statement. Oh, hold on. Yep. What? Hold on. Testing. What? Oh, yeah. Him. Yeah. I knew I was skipping over something. It wouldn't be an Aaron service if she didn't skip over something. All right. Our closing hymn is This Old World, number 315 in the gray hymnals. The words will also appear on the screen. Please join us in affirming our mission statement. By building a loving religious community that nourishes the spirit, celebrates life, and cherishes the connectedness of all things, we will transform ourselves and our world. And in the order of service, it's a little wrong, but now the choir is going to sing their anthem, Rise My Neighbor, lyrics by Stuart Wilson.
Extinguish our chalice, let us keep in mind these words from the Epistle of James. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but do not have works? Can faith save you? If a brother or sister is naked and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm, eat your fill," and yet you do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that? So faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith.